coach. I find that to be hypocritical. Me having a strong opinion, when I watch football, I ask, I'm like, why would they put that running back in this play? And
this
then
is like building a stadium for the Jets in Boston, Massachusetts.
Now we understand.
Now, wait, can I ask you a question?
45 new followers, by the way, Pete. 45 new followers.
Do you guys have a bad relationship with the Cringe Humor guys? Because I wanted to plug. They asked me to host a show, and I'm hosting the Cringe Humor show with Nick DiPaolo's headline tonight at Comics, and I wanted to plug that and ask this guy if he'd like to go. I'd buy him a drink with poison in it.
No, we don't have a bad relationship with those guys at all.
All right.
Patrick and those guys are great.
Oh, okay. So, Cringe Humor show tonight at Comics. I wanted to make sure I plugged that for him.
Very cool. John?
Yeah, buddy.
What else there, buddy? You good?
Well, hey, listen, just a quick comment, then I'll punch out. You can be an armchair quarterback all you want, but the difference is, I don't know if you heard me, a guy that says they shouldn't have thrown that ball doesn't say, yeah, I was talking to Mike Schuler last week, and he told me the same thing. Just be an armchair quarterback and say I'm an armchair quarterback. Don't start bringing up. Don't bring up ex-CIA, CIA, FBI, and all these people, and then say, matter of fact, I just got an email from an FBI guy, and then you look like a douche.
Oh, I'm fine with looking like a douche. I think I generally look like a douche 3 hours a day. I don't care what I look like, man. That's the difference between you and I, perhaps.
Yeah,
I don't.
The difference is that you do care.
No, I really don't. I'm a stand-up comedian for 15 years. If I cared what I look like, I would have done something else. I wear my heart on my sleeve and tell people exactly what I think. And when I'm wrong, I'm happy to say I'm wrong. When I sound stupid, I'm happy to say I sound stupid. We were talking about the Bush tax cuts yesterday, and I started making a point, and then I just fumbled the ball and sounded like an idiot. And I'm like, you know what? I have no idea about economics, and when I talk about it, you should never listen to me or my opinion on it.
Here's the problem with this guy. He says he does the same thing. I was a stand-up comedian for 15 years. It's like, dude, listen, just make your point. Quit trying to earn credibility where there is no credibility to be earned. Nobody gives a shit if you were a comic for 15 years. Nobody gives a shit.
I shouldn't make any arguments with you because nothing matters. I'm trying to share, like, my, why I tried to, you said you're a douchebag and you care. And I said, listen, I agree that I'm a douchebag. That I am. I agree that I'm a stand-up comedian who some idiot gave a political talk show to. That in a way makes me a douchebag.
No, you're very passionate about it, though. I mean,
but
you believe what you say.
I believe what I say, and that changes a lot. Sometimes I'll believe something, and then that belief will change.
Remember that the next time you yell at me for having backed Bush.
It's not the passion of your belief that I have a problem with.
Oh.
I love people who are passionate about their beliefs. What I hate, and you're a lot like this, whether you think you are or not. Intellectuals often will make...
I'm not an intellectual. Why would anybody call me an intellectual? Why would you call me that? What makes me an intellectual?
I want to be intellectual.
Yes, I am a wannabe. Now, Bob Bayer is a CIA agent. I don't mind giving you his name.
Crazy.
Huh?
When you guys don't understand that we'll respect your opinion as long as you're passionate about it. The minute you start trying to earn credibility by saying, I talk to all these people who agree with me, well, you know you...
They don't agree with me. I talk to them and I agree with them. I don't give them... I don't tell a CIA agent how it is and he says, you're right. He tells me how it is.
Agree with me.
Bob Bayer. You know Bob, right?
Bob Bayer, who doesn't know Bob Bayer?
Well, that's the guy I talked to. So you said earlier I don't talk to CIA agents.
Okay.
That's one guy I talked to on and off the record.
Transcript of your conversation where he said that we need to go and be kind.
You can read his books, bro. You can read his books. Read his books. He's got like 3 books. He wrote the movie Syriana.
All right, John.
He's friends with George Clooney.
So basically you read his books.
I read his books and I got interested in him. I talked to him. Michael Scheuer. Do you know who Michael Scheuer is? Michael Scheuer was the head of the Bin Laden agent. He's head of the Bin Laden. You know who Michael Scheuer is, right?
I was talking to Stephen King last week.
But you know who Michael Scheuer is, right?
This guy's such a smart ass.
Listen, brother, listen.
Do you know who Michael Scheuer is?
We're not going to play a name game right here, okay?
Because you don't know. You're in the CIA and you don't know who Michael Scheuer is.
You do. What I'm saying is, just fucking stop. Just wear your beliefs and wear your opinions. Don't throw people like us under the bus to make your point or to sound believable. That's what I'm saying. Stop doing that because it pisses us off.
I don't do it. You perceive me to be doing that. My opinions are the things I believe are informed by experts who have real life experience and academic degrees in them. That's where I get my opinion. What the hell would I know about any of this?
Every time they disagree with you, you didn't argue for yourself. You said, but I've talked to all these people, and they agree with you.
Yes, I do that all the time. I love it when people do that. I love it when people say, rather than I think something.
You have an understanding of politics that I wish more people had.
What's that?
I said, Ann has an understanding of politics and the way people think. From a counterintelligence standpoint, Ann is usually right on.
Oh, look at that.
Could you say something nice about me, too?
Oh, Jimmy, my man.
Nice.
I love you, buddy.
Thank you,
I
sir.
love you, buddy.
I love you.
I listen to you guys every day. I'm a punch out now.
All right, John, thank you. We're going to go to a Marine Corps vet. Who's this?
Hey, this is Joe in New York.
Yeah, sure
we got
it
Pete
is.
Dominick on the air today, who does his own political talk show.
Yeah, what time is your show on? Pete's on
POTUS, Monday
POTUS.
through Friday, 3 to 6
3 to 6,
p.m. XM 130 Series
It's an
110.
entertaining show.
You know
I've
what
done it. Pete likes to argue. It's a good
think?
show, man.
You think he likes to
But I
argue?
like that about him.
You know
a lot.
You know what I did the other day on the show when we pulled out of, we started pulling these troops out of Iraq?
Bad-mouthed America.
I hated America. I burnt a flag, which is bad for radio. So no, I asked guys like the Marine Corps vet that's on the phone. I don't know when or where he served, but I said, I don't know a lot of what we're talking about. For example, in Iraq, I've never been to Iraq. I've never been to Afghanistan. I've never come anywhere near the military, nor has my family. My dad was Army Reserve. So I said, I said on the show, what did we gain from our invasion in the last 7 years, or our time in Iraq, right? And I said, I don't want anybody to call me, but members of the military who served in Iraq, because they're the people whose opinions I think really count. And if you want to call that some loaded question or liberal point of view, fine. But that's what we do on our show, because I don't know necessarily. I have my opinions, I have my ideas, which are informed. But I was much more informed after talking to about, 15 Iraq veterans. So if you served in Iraq, I said, what did you learn? What did we gain? What was good? We had a really, really interesting conversation.
Can I give you a Marine Corps answer to that question, sir?
Did you serve in Iraq?
Yes, sir. I'm a 3-time Iraq veteran, a 2-time Afghanistan veteran.
Wow.
United States Marine Corps, 3rd Battalion, 7th Marine.
God, thanks for your service. Do you have a
Busy
wife?
Yes, I have a wife and 3 kids.
Wow.
So now you're driving around in a minivan.
Yeah, I do.
Holy
You're a
shit.
Marine Corps vet in a minivan?
How do you handle that with the shit you got to do over there?
I keep my Humvee in the garage.
Do you have a Semper Fi sticker on the back of your minivan?
Right on. What do you got for Pete, sir?
Okay, just a couple of points. Now, the political side of things about Islam aside, I don't mind you taking the apologist point of view, and let me finish first, that we may have given reasons to radical Muslims for hating us, okay? I don't mind you saying that as long as in the same breath you acknowledge the fact that Islam as a whole and as a culture, and we're talking a global culture, has a very, very, very big problem that no other culture on the face of this earth has. You have radical imams and mosques and madrasas all over the world who crank out these radical, impressionable, lunatic fundamentalists who are willing to kill people based on who they are. That is a simple fact of Islam. There is a lot of moderate Muslims out there, but until all of those moderate Muslims get together and publicly meet these animals head on and distance themselves from them and take back this peaceful religion that was so-called hijacked from them, until that happens, and until we're all honest about it and say, yes, this needs to happen, the problem is never going to go away. That is a simple fact. And until we get past this whole political correct fear of offending anybody because of what they might do, that is the core of the problem that Islam has, and no other religious group or culture on the face of this earth has a problem that bad. That's a fact. You cannot debate any of that. For all our faults, I'm with you on that. But again, that can't be the excuse, and if you're going to spew one part of the equation out of your mouth, you damn well better acknowledge the other side of it.
Well,
that's all I got.
Good point, sir. Good point.
Yeah, I mean, I generally don't.
And he's out.
I generally don't end my opinion with "that's a fact" and you can't debate it. I find there's not much you can say after that. But I don't disagree. with much of what he said about that. There's a lot of radical, horrific imams all over the world. But if you look at the way Islam is practiced in America, I mean, you really don't see that much in America.
Yeah, the blind cleric, he was very...
Of course, you can point out a handful of people, but generally in mosques across this country, if you've ever been to one, I mean...
the one in Buffalo, there's no problem with that one.
You could point out a handful you could point out a handful, but you could point out a handful of any religion being bad.
Yes.
I mean, you could point out a handful.
Yes.
But generally, Jimmy, you agree with me that Islam is practiced
Much bigger
very
hands
peacefully.
Much bigger hands full. Yes.
It's practiced, but they run and own businesses in this country, and they do it responsibly. They raise families in this country, and they're generally, overwhelmingly, I should say, in America, very peaceful. And they came to America for the reason to make money, to have a better life. That's the reason why most people come here.
All right, let's go to Jay in Jersey.
By the way,
Jay.
one of my favorite Colin Quinn lines ever on Tough Crowd, he was talking about Islam. He's like, and to be honest, you can't let a few million bad apples spoil the bunch.
A million bad.
Jay in Jersey. Jay.
Colin.
Hey, what's up, boys? What's going on?
Hey, brother.
Jay.
First of all, I gotta say one thing. The guy who called before to blast Pete on, the ex-CIA guy, he's blasting him, saying that, well, he's basing his opinion on who he's talking to, and he shouldn't be doing that. The last time I checked, and he agreed with Anthony's side because Anthony agrees with him, apparently. But the last time I checked, Anthony's political experience was based on how much he wants to fuck Ann Coulter. He doesn't have any. He's an intelligent guy who knows what he's talking about. Why can't Pete use that same experience that he does?
I don't mind you saying any of that, except for the fact that Anthony's an intelligent guy who knows what he's talking about.
Really? What?
Because I have to make eye contact with him every day. It's humiliating.
I hear that, boys. So I gotta say this, guys. I was an ex-first responder. What the hell does this guy want? What's up? What's up?
An ex?
No, I'm gonna move, but give me a second. All right, I'll move for you. All right, no problem.
What's that about?
Tell him you were a first responder.
Muslims making me move out of front of his...
Goddamn Muslim.
So here's the deal, guys. I was a first responder on 9/11. Anthony, you yelled at Stryker yesterday that he's forgot.
Yeah.
I can't forget. I got shit in my head, man, that I've seen, that I smell still to this day. 9/11 comes around, and I get a little fucked in the head over it. But I think the problem is here. I agree with their right to build it. I don't agree with them wanting to build it. I don't think they should build it, which I think is the argument everybody's had. But there is a large amount of people who are going on this that they should not be allowed to build it, that the government should step in and say, no, you can't build this. And I think that's the problem. Yes, there are a lot of people down there who are just saying that they shouldn't build it. And they have the right to sit there if this thing gets built and protest every day.
Hey, can I ask you a question, buddy? Not to interrupt you, but I have not... You may be correct. There may have been people who said they should not be allowed to build it, but I have not seen or heard any of that. I've heard everyone who's against it preface it, and especially all the politicians, with saying this is not about freedom of religion. We don't think that they shouldn't have the legal right.
Yeah, I know the argument that I have. I'm in a field where most of the guys I work with are very conservative. I am not a liberal at all. I consider myself an independent, and I can see, like I said, both sides of it. And a lot of people call me a fence sitter for having that attitude. I don't know. I think the people I talk to, and like I said, these are people who are going to be a little bit more open because they're not out on the news necessarily where somebody can sit there and say that, well, they're trying to hold back a religion, they want to kill Muslims. But a lot of the guys I do speak to wholeheartedly believe that these people should be just packed up, shipped out, and sent away. Now, again, I think it's a barbaric religion. I really think that they're a bunch of, maniacs. I am a self-hating Christian. I basically abandoned my religion years ago because of my own issues with it. These people, yes, there is an issue with them, but they do have the right to practice religion. I know you guys have never said that they don't have a right to practice.
Yeah, we've said that.
A big underlining feeling that that's what people really want. And it's tough. And like I said, the one thing he had said before is that we need to understand why they hate us. We do need to understand. That's one of a big thing in dealing with an enemy is to know why they hate us. Not to agree with it, not to sit there and say, well, it's our fault. But you need to know why, and there's other ways to deal with it.
It's because we are. Because we're Americans. That's why we're hated.
I guess that's a good point. Pete was right, too. Knowing why they hate you doesn't mean you're I almost said kowtowing, but I won't. But bending to their will. But knowing is obviously a good way to combat it. Okay.
Do you really think that Obama says something only because he feels like he wants to say that? I mean, everybody's involved in any kind of statement he makes about this. Now, do I wish he would have came out and said, these people have the right to build this place there? They absolutely can do it. I would hope that he consider people's feelings. I don't, I didn't hear what exactly he said, but it doesn't.
He did.